Good day. Let me introduce myself. I am Jonah Gutierrez, a grade 9 student that is currently experiencing the harsh times of this pandemic, which is why I thought to speak up about the matter. Please do excuse the poor environment, and it's very unfortunate that I could not perform or I cannot deliver the speech in a more suitable manner, and I plead for your understanding. Education must not stop. But what would we do if we aren't even learning anymore? In these trying times of a pandemic where people are forced to stay in their houses, how are we supposed to not trap our creative minds in the four corners of our home? Is it our adaptability at fault? Or is it the system that is slowly killing our passion? Based on CNN Philippines reported on August 12, 2020, 4 million students did not enroll this school year. Aside from the alarming increase in out of school youth, the ones who are enrolled are experiencing difficulties too. Both teachers and students are required to adapt to the new normal settings because face to face classes are not allowed. Flexible learning is the combination of digital, which is asynchronous, and non-digital, which is the modular mode of learning to ensure the continuity of education even in this crisis or even in this emergency such as the pandemic. It is the setup that we are currently experiencing right now. The shift of papers and pens to Wi-Fi and gadgets took quite the toll. It affected all students, teachers, and parents financially, as some cannot afford a laptop or a daily access to the internet. This is one of the main reasons of the high dropout rate. Apart from this, the Philippines is not what would you call a first world country with amazing Wi-Fi. Buying load for data became an extra heavy necessity for some of us. Aside from financial stress, our mental health and well being are also at risk. As a teen student myself, I can say that this type of setup is not healthy for me. I, my physical activities only include sitting and walking short distances from the living room to the bathroom to the bedroom or to whatever four corners that my house includes. Um, Aside from the lack of exercise, eyesight is also heavily affected as we spend most of our time staring at screens, as the classes are on the screens and our leisure time are also on the screens. Although the most unhealthy habit that I developed this pandemic is weirdly sleeping at 2 a.m. And I observed that I am not the only one struggling with my sleeping schedule, as my classmates would often chat me about schoolwork in the wee hours of the night. Apart from the physical challenges, as I said, our mental health are also at risk. Social isolation, heightened stress, and anxiety for all of us. Much research has already concluded that the lack of social interaction affects the body, including the brain. Aside from being separated from your friends, you need to mind your schoolworks. Other teens might find it hard to concentrate on their homes, as their homes do not provide a healthy learning space. Based on personal experience, I see a lot of my peers struggling with this type of setup. There are piles of tasks undone, personal problems, the chaotic world outside. All of it is bothering us. What is the difference, Jonah, between then and now? It is still, you're all still procrastinating, and there's still a lot going on, and of course, you all have personal problems. Well, then we had each other at school. School is like our escape from the world. Now the house is our only environment, and the only support we can provide each other is through the screen. Aside from this, the passion for learning has certainly decreased. How can I say so? Well, even without research or a news article, I can clearly say from the students' rants all over online that they are done, tired. Well, They only do schoolworks to pass, and the fun in learning is nowhere to be found. We are all trying to see the good in this situation, but this setup is just so hard to bond with. Well, Jonah, what actions should we take to restore the passion for learning and to have no students left behind? Well, I have some suggestions that I hope you would take note of. 1. Financial help to all those who need it. 2. No failing grade policy. 3. Scheduled breaks. Take note of those 3. Everything I suggested is common, but not all is understood. Education should be inclusive, and this setup is not. The biggest reason for high out of school dropout rate is that they cannot afford gadgets or a daily access to the internet, right? I hope the government funds more free Wi-Fi in public places, and donation drives and amelioration programs should be continued to give more students and teachers gadgets, as modular mode of learning is not effective to all. The no failing grade policy is already implemented to some schools, but although we do not know of its effectiveness rate yet, I do think that it can help with students' motivation to learn, because it minimizes the stress and pressure that we are experiencing right now. It would also be great help to those students who are experiencing extreme personal troubles. And I do believe that high grades should not be the focus right now, but survival. Lastly, scheduled breaks. Students do not have the after school excursions or break time that they used to. They do not have a rewind time that was given going to and from school before. Schoolworks always circles our minds non-stop. After we think that we have finished all of our tasks, another one pops up. I believe having scheduled breaks would be great help. Where in a particular amount of time there would be no schoolworks given. This can be a great rewind time for both students and teachers. Education is what shapes us humans. Not learning the lessons properly may make a huge effect on our future as the humanity. We may not make better solutions to move forward, or even in the simplest state of making correct decisions in your own lives. And of course, it would also affect our working force. What do we do when a person's job who can save lives did not receive a proper education? As the pandemic goes on and face-to-face classes still cannot be implemented, I hope that we can create more better solutions to the problems that need prompt action. Education. Education must not stop. It can either make or break our society, our future. We must aid our students, for as Rizal says, our national hero Rizal says, kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan. Now, what do we do if our future generation lacks the power to strive for the betterment of all? If this pandemic, this crisis has already crushed their passion for learning. So to end my speech, it is already nighttime, and I hope you learned something. And I hope, as fellow student, our teacher, or anyone who is listening right now, I hope you would continue to have the strive, the power, the passion to learn. To learn and to be curious, to know things, and to be aware of everything that is happening around you, because it would make you a better citizen. It would make you a better human for the society, or even just for yourself. It would make you a better person for yourself. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed my speech.